All right, welcome to the Heroic Roundtable, the recap show where we don't just revisit the latest episode of Heroic Round. We pull up our chairs, roll our dice, and dive into the deeper side of tabletop storytelling. Around this table, we talk character arcs, game choices, and the wild magic of collaborative storytelling. Whether you're here for a laugh, looking to level up your game, or just curious how we wrangle chaos at the table, we're glad you're here. This isn't just a recap. This is the Heroic Roundtable. Okay, so last time we had a lot of hijinks and happenings in the Thorn Fort. And I think that we haven't recapped really since you showed up at the Thorn Fort and Lord Galen was furious and blaming you for the loss of his love, Ilaria Catkin. So I think there's been 3 sessions that we've played in the Thorn Fort, running around, taking care of business. Question I wanted to ask is, did anything happen at the Thorn Fort that changed your character's perspective? This is just an open question to the group.
Yes.
Speak more on that, Mac.
No.
Speak on that.
I'm just kidding. And this has been Roundtable.
And thank you.
I think for Mac, seeing Ilaria and the state that she was in and like kind of the trauma that she's gone through, quickly changed Mac's opinion and like respect for Galen. Because like Galen and his crew kind of follow the Green Faith, and so there was some sort of familiarity there, I think, when the first time we came through. And so coming back, it was like, oh no, he's a bad guy. He sucks. He doesn't deserve what he has. And yeah, I think I acted on that and kind of showed my displeasure with him. And
You showed that by breaking his face.
I tried. I don't think it even broke his face, but I wanted it to.
It hurted.
It hurted.
It hurted. He had big owie.
Yeah.
Big owie energy.
What
about you guys?
shillelied his mouth.
Did anything happen that changed your character's perspective?
Yeah, I think so. We did talk about this in a non-recorded,
A recorded failure.
But when Flavius was talking to Lord Galen, it was very direct and very assholey from LS's perspective, and we had gone through, both Mac and I had ways, like we're in the Thorn Fort, right? So it's all like trees and shit that Mac, we found out, can cast and move, and he can, like, what is it, manipulate trees? I don't know what the actual spell is called.
Nailed it.
He does gas lamping to trees.
Yeah.
Fairy firing.
Yeah.
He fairy fires the trees to manipulate
What's that
them.
spell that you can manipulate trees called?
Manipulate tree.
Is it really manipulate tree?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's
Anyway,
like shape wood. I'm
Yeah.
shaping wood right
Big
now,
DM
just
brain.
hanging out with you guys.
but so, and then we had like Landon Thorne in our back pocket about, like, he's kind of basically a follower now, right? Like,
He's your follower.
yeah,
dude.
I know. I'm grooming him.
I want us to,
and so
everybody,
Or are you following him?
go back and watch episode 2 when we introduced Landon, right? Or episode 1.
It's early on.
Watch early on and look how much LS hates Landon.
I hated him.
Hated him.
You too.
But doesn't a good leader is changed by their leading,
Wow.
right? So he's made LS a better man, I think. He's helped connect him back to humanity.
He's made you a father.
Yeah, but we had other options instead of just moving forward, and Flavius was the one talking, and in retrospect, what we kind of came to is we could have stepped back and talked a little bit as a group, but what it really brought up was that we hadn't really discussed more in depth, and we got a little bit in the session after this happened. We had a chance to reflect as characters on what our motivations are, and I think it'll help us moving forward as our characters are finding their own paths. And officially, LS said that we're no longer coworkers, right? We're friends now.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
we'll move into like a more meaningful, deep connection as characters, as LS, Flavius, and Mac and Jake. So I think that was good. And we had a big old heart-to-heart about it. It was like
We
45 minutes or an hour long.
We recorded a roundtable.
Did
and
we
me and
record it?
Brandon- We recorded it with video, no audio.
Way to go, Kenneth, you idiot.
Kenneth, you're fired. And
Kenneth is
rehired.
lucky to still have a job.
Yeah.
But
He
we
does
love
so-
you, Kenneth.
he does
but
so
also
much
don't do
for
it
us.
again. And if you do it again, we're gonna.
But me and Brandon talk the way we talk, and it made
Which
John,
is very abrasive and mean to each
made
other.
John and Chad very uncomfortable.
Never.
I was fine. I wasn't scared.
Dad and Dad were fighting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dad
But
and
I
daddy.
think
Our
what
dads.
I kind of came to
Dad's
is I realized we allow the NPCs we interact with NPCs in the worlds. We do not interact with each other in game.
That was a big aha.
and so I think that was cool
An
because
aha.
in our round table, Brandon like obviously was like, hey, like Flavius is kind of going off the handle. And we kind of talked about like, well, we can address that in game in some ways. And it was cool because in the end of this, we had like Flavius got his talking to
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like,
It was
hey, you're
cool.
more than just one person here. Like we're a group. We're God's army.
Yeah, that was probably my
Wow.
favorite part.
That's
Rolling
a
in.
big
It was good. It
moment.
was really cool because it's
That's a
funny
big
that
moment.
we've played for so long and played so many different characters. It's been fun to realize like, oh, there's these things that we can do to like improve, and that's why I loved how everything kind of had. We learned a little bit about each other and trusting, and realize that Flavius has to play more to the group.
I think what we learned is it's actually all about the climb or the journey.
It's the friendships you made along the way.
But I also think it was a really good reminder that even though we've played together so many times, that like for years and years, right? But this, as our own like role playing style has evolved and changed, there's still things in contention that we have to overcome as a group,
Exactly.
right? So
Mhm.
it was really good. It was, I think what's funny is if you listen to recap episode 12, I say something similar where I was like, we had this aha moment
Uh-huh.
and we started talking as characters. And this was just a development of that and
Mhm.
a deeper connection
Yeah,
to God's army.
phenomenal. So 2 questions. One for Mac. Will you throw me one of those candy rope things? I want to eat one of those.
Let's see if we're fresh out.
Please. So the second question comes from okay, nice throw. Good Lord. Second question comes from a user for Flavius, at Sister Sash. Says, I've heard you bring up character motivation a lot. Why do you feel it's so important?
It's why I love playing any type of role-playing game. This idea that I can act in a way where I won't act in life, and my character has its own subtext and motivations. And it's challenging because you're playing with your own motivations, but you're trying to figure out how your motivations would realistically play with other people. So a subtext can be as much as like, I want to try to get as powerful as possible. And we played a really cool campaign where we had Colin, and he played a character called Calandalar, and his end goal was to become a lich.
Spoiler
And so
alert.
it was just like, oh shit, like, but he played it in a way where he was still committed to the other players in the group. And
Well,
so
of
that
course,
was a
he
really-
needed one to sacrifice.
He needed one to sacrifice, right? But he realized what was interesting is that when we played that, it was very much like, oh, that's a good idea of like, he has his own motivations, but he still ultimately recognizes in order to get that power, he has to go with the group, right?
Mhm.
So that's an interesting way of like having an evil motivation and coming through. I don't think any of us are inherently evil, but motivations are fun because it helps me influence how I interact and talk with. What? Did I say something wrong?
No, I was just looking at Kenneth.
But it's motivations are so fun for me because then it helps me see how would I act in combat, how would I act in person. So going to back how Flavius is a bullheaded kind of idiot, not an idiot, but like he just wants to act, right?
Mhm.
And so it is a fun balance of trying to figure it out. And you can sometimes have motivations that can like rub people wrong.
Cottonhead and Ninny Muggins.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will
So-
say one thing that you do really well with your motivations that I hadn't ever really appreciated before is you build flaws into your character that are specific to that character. And I think that's something that I've never really appreciated about before your characterization.
Yeah.
And that's a super cool approach and not something that I do in my own, but like
Your character
now that
is perfect.
yeah, well, thank you.
18 strength wizard.
Yeah. But what can I say? But I'm a sorcerer.
That's right.
But
You
that
forgot
aside-
the line though. After
Guys,
you
I'm trying.
You dumb bitch.
I'm trying to
You
get
gotta
a
say,
compliment.
you dumb
man.
bitch.
Yeah.
I'm a
Do it again.
sorcerer, you
Yeah.
dumb bitch. That's what you're
But-
supposed to say.
Put that
But-
on the t-shirt.
But that being said, like it also as a player gives me a little bit more insight into what you're trying to do. Like there is a flaw in your character
Mhm.
and you're not letting that just kind of fall to the back burner. Like it's a active part of your character.
Yeah.
And I've never really viewed it as that until recently. So I think that
Nice.
that's really cool. And I think that's an awesome like role-playing piece that you have.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I love having motivations, and it doesn't need. It can be complex backstory. It can literally be like, I want to find the most powerful weapon in the game, right? And that can change and act how you act, right? Or I'll do anything to protect my friends, and that changes. Just those one or two phrases is motivation enough for a character.
Very cool. Thanks. Anything you'd add, Mac?
I'm just curious, like, do you start adding motivation to your character after you've played for 20 years, or should I wait longer?
Keep waiting; it'll
Okay.
come to you. Yeah.
I'll get this someday.
Okay, I do have a user or a listener question for you, Mac. This user at Lotus says you've received a lot of books as loot in the campaign so far, and it seems like you've been annoyed. What kinds of items would you rather receive?
Lotus backwards is Chad, but
Oh. No, sorry. Lotus just
Lotus, we know Lotus.
Scared
Lotus
me a
goes
bit.
way back.
I don't know. Yeah, I like books. Books are cool.
Tell that to your face next time I give you a book in the campaign.
Maybe stop giving me books,
My
dude.
favorite is you
What
got
should- what would you rather receive?
No, I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
You like the Vermilion book.
Books it is.
It's the Vermilion Codex, and it's
Books
dope.
it is.
You
Books
realize
it is.
you are only getting books.
books
now.
on books now.
You
he's
guys
received a vermilion of them.
Do you?
Well said.
I was gonna make a joke about a library card, but dude, you took it home.
Yeah, that was a great one.
No, books are cool. I like you read from or you roll on the list. I'm not always going to get books.
Okay. Are you sure? All right, moving on. LS, a listener, I love this username, at Hex on the Beach, which is a pretty good one.
Hey, Hex Crawls.
Shout out for a
Better
great
than Hex.
username. Most of the players I know are afraid to take risks with their characters. I feel like the opposite is true of how you play. How do you balance taking risks versus playing it safe?
Do you know what playing it safe means?
I know Brandon's gonna give a really good answer, but I have to add to stuff when you
Just
say
start.
To start,
Just start it.
Brandon plays for risks and moments.
Yeah.
Because he creates the best risks and moments.
Mm.
As another player, sometimes that's incredibly frustrating, but it's also some of the most memorable stuff that happens in D&D. So I think, I don't know if it's a motivation of you as a player, but I feel like you always look for an opportunity to do something unique with a character, and you always look for opportunities to explore risks or kind of crazy scenarios.
He embodies live heroic, die historic.
It really does. And we get put in scenarios and it's like, well, a little bit of wild card, but there's always thought to it. But sometimes the thought's just like thrown out the window. Let's try this stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think I appreciate that. Thank you. And I do think that going back to what you said about like it's something that you don't do in your normal life. And it's like I like that there's that element of, well, I could never do this in my normal life, right? I wouldn't make or do these kind of risks or take these kind of risks. So it's a fun way for me to role play and kind of expand on like, oh, that would be crazy if we did something like this. And sometimes it results in like, we used to have a house rule where magic items exploded.
Yeah.
Used to?
Does it still exist?
Yes.
Okay. So one
At
time,
least in my mind,
if
I don't know that
broken.
that's ever changed.
I think there was a specific
not like
campaign
they
where we
time
called
out.
out that it didn't break.
so after it was
They
the
abused
Crest
it.
campaign, and I had taken a bag of holding and jumped on the back of a dragon and pierced the bag of holding with a magical sword, and they both blew up.
you also shot Or John shot the wands out of the dragon's little teeny claws and
I
exploded them.
wasn't there.
That's also a house rule.
Yeah, but
Dragons, they have thumbs and they can hold wands in their wings.
Yeah. But it did. I think that was the campaign where it was like, okay, no more magic items are blowing up. Or maybe we reduced the damage because it used to be like
D100 per magical bonus.
it was big.
Yeah, I still
So,
like that.
yeah.
We just
I
need,
mean,
I
I
just
still
need
like
to
it
make
too.
it. Yeah, I just need to make it harder to break a magic item.
That's fair.
That's the
and
way you
then the
balance it.
toughness was
That's the way you
something that we-
balance it. Yeah.
But so kind of going along those same lines, I really do like thinking outside of the box where we've been playing for a long time. And so it's fun to say like, okay, well, how could I break this rule within the, like, not completely, but in like, how could I bend it in a way that would benefit us, or look for opportunities to make like a bluff check with a spell for an enemy that maybe wouldn't be smart enough to know that it's a spell, but not smart enough to know that it's not really a spell. Those kind of things where you can use like your environment around you, or you can use items on your character to change the game in a way that is unexpected. And to me, it's living for those moments to make it more interesting. And those are the things that when I think about campaigns, I don't necessarily think like, oh, it was really cool how it all wrapped up. To me, it's like those little like moments on the journey along the way where it's like, well, remember when we bet your servitude and then I failed the roll, or like the dice roll in-game dice roll. So I had to bet my servitude and then we got what we needed. Those kinds of things that just really like to me make it feel more like a story where it's zany and crazy, but it's
Fun.
part of the journey.
I think after a lot of consideration, I'd like to extend an offer to make you an official permanent member of the group.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were going to say something about getting more books.
He
have
got
a
his
million
wings
Yeah.
today. He got his
Yeah.
wings. No, I think there's so many times where you do things just for the story, like for the plot. There's like a memory I have of a character you played, Dawn. I think you guys were in a mushroom forest. There were nymphs that had revealed themselves, and these were the types of nymphs where if you looked at them, there's a chance that they would blind you. Everybody else in the group had accidentally looked and had succeeded in their saves, but they were wise to what was happening. So they told Dawn, they told you, Brandon, like, don't look over there, there's nymphs. And I remember your reaction was immediately, and then you looked. You're like, you look anyway, which is so funny because I think that normally 9 times out of 10, I think a player would not look, would be like, oh, great, thanks guys, I'm not going to look, to protect their character. But you just always would do that kind of stuff. And the best part was you went blind. You were the only one that ended up going. But it was amazing for the story. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it as a storyteller, and as the DM, I love it.
I
It's
will
so
add
good.
like what you said around the rules, because that's a great example, Chad.
Yeah.
Because I think what you do when you do this is you kind of let the group know where you can role play to. Like showing how much you can lean against the rope, right? Before it breaks. Like, because I don't ever think you've done any of this in order to game the system, right? It's not
No.
a munchkin thing. It's very much always centered around role play and story. And I think when people play with you, new players specifically, they see that. And I
Yeah.
think that's a cool thing. And I'm like, oh, I just like, in talking about it, I was like, wow, that's a lot of what Brandon does when he plays, is to kind of like press it, because Brandon will be the one that will maximize his actions by giving a really good explanation of how you're going to use your move action, your standard action, a free action. You do a good job explaining it. And it's not in the terms of like trying to get more out of it, but getting more out of it by role playing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it's even
cool.
manifested in this campaign with like Callista, right? Like you entered a deal, like a bargain with a fae creature of clearly, malevolent background.
What?
And
Allegedly.
It's cool to see you take a gamble on something like that and like enter into a pact with this creature, when that is not what a normal player would be trying to do. A normal player would be like, no, I don't want to get attached to this. I'm so scared. Don't want to do it. You're like, no, I'm going to lean in and play the game against Callista, and we'll see where it goes. I think that's cool. I respect that.
I also think that that's like a weakness of not this character, but me as a player character, where I'll always take, or almost always take those opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's a hook you can build in that
Sure.
it's too juicy for me not to
Yeah.
take that bait.
A little
Brandon
juicy
bait.
grub,
Yep.
juicy grub on the hook. Yeah. Good stuff. Cool. Okay. Thank you for that. So last group question. What was your first tabletop role-playing game memory? It's the
Ooh,
first
I've
thing
got
you
mine.
can remember.
I can go first.
Go ahead, Ella.
So in 5th grade, I was reading The Lord of the Rings, or it might have
Smart
actually
guy,
been
big brain.
It might have been The Hobbit.
He was
first.
in the advanced class.
Yeah. Actually.
Actually.
And I was talking to Jason.
Yep.
Whoa, don't full
shout
name
out
him.
to Jason,
Sorry, yeah,
dude.
we can just
haven't seen
we can
him
blur his
forever.
last name, but blur it, beep
Blur
it.
it. No, blur
Yeah,
it.
I'll blur it.
Just
and-
change it to Jason.
Yeah,
That's where it came from.
that's where actually we get vanilla extract.
From Beaver.
Yeah.
From Beaver.
Listen to Juice Wizards if you want to get that
go
reference.
listen to Juice Wizards.
But I was telling him about how cool The Hobbit was. No, it was Lord of the Rings because he was like, "Oh, there's a game you can do that and you can play your own characters." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
No way.
And so we played like a mini version of D&D
Mhm.
in Mrs. Hubble's class, or I don't remember who our teacher.
Mhm.
It might have not been her, but and he like showed me like the ropes of like how to do that. And then
Cool.
very soon after that, we as a group played it. My first time playing was in Colin's house,
Mm.
in his bedroom. So yeah, that was my
Cool.
first experience, and then I was hooked.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember mine was also with Colin, is the first memory I have. Colin DMing for me. And I remember I had a bow and I shot with an arrow into the back of somebody who was fleeing. And Colin described that the arrow went, came back and went out their chest. And that was like all of the neurons in my brain lit up. And I was like, holy crap, this game is amazing. That's like the memory I go back to. Is like, that was when I felt the hook for role-playing games get deep into my jaw. Just never let go.
There you go.
I think my mom was gripped by the satanic panic.
Yes.
And so when I was like, I want to play D&D with these guys,
Mhm.
she was like, no. But she didn't say I couldn't hang out. So
you watched.
it had to have been weeks or months
I think it was
that
a
I
couple weeks. Yeah.
that
And
I
think
just
what
like
your-
watched you guys play at Mike's house. And I was like, this is so cool.
I think what your mom understood that we weren't Satanists.
Yeah, well, she was wrong, but
Well, we hit it. We hit it well.
thank you.
Praise Satan.
Say
Beelzebub?
shave those horns down.
Mhm.
What is it? As is above, so is below. Never mind. We won't go in that.
As above, so below.
Careful.
And
No,
then
no,
with
it's not
chaos
Satanism.
magic
That's-
and
Occultism in general.
Follow our other podcast.
Thanks,
for,
Mr. Crowley.
so yeah, it was like I was
Hidden
I
curriculum.
wanted to play because I listened and I was able to like visualize it like you do when you play.
Yeah.
It's like I could see the story you guys are creating and I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Was your first character Gren?
Yeah, Gren Kurskoff.
Wow, dude, I can't believe I remembered that.
I'm actually very surprised.
Yeah.
I was surprised
taking
you
your
whipped out
ginkgo
the last
biloba.
name.
Ginkgo bilobus.
I think my first memory was I had a group of cousins move from Georgia to
Georgia.
Utah. Georgia.
Jaja.
And they play we went over to the house. They had to be here for like 2 or 3 weeks. And my older brothers were like, "Oh, we're gonna go over to the cousins and play Dungeons and Dragons." And I was like, "What?" And they were all older than me. So I remember me and my cousin like came into the room because they locked the door, but we were just like, "Can we please come in? Can we please come in?" They finally let us in, but we had to sit silently in the back of the room and just watch them.
Mhm.
So I remember my cousin Kenny was DMing D&D. I don't know what it was, but I remember just being like, what is going on? So I just remember just
Cool.
being like completely like, this is crazy. This is awesome.
It's awesome.
So
And then
Good
we
stuff.
never talked to girls again.
Well, shout out to the older brothers who wouldn't let us play
Yep.
because it made us figure it out. Because I remember going after having those first play sessions, going to media play, buying the first 3 core rule books for AD&D. So Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master Guide, Monsters Manual. They're right there on the shelf. I can see them. I remember buying them and feeling like I was stepping into the world of being an adult. Like it was amazing. Super cool. Awesome. Well, that's it for this episode of the Heroic Roundtable. Thanks for hanging out with us. Remember to submit your questions. We just might feature it in the next episode. If you're enjoying the adventure, don't forget to land a critical hit on that subscribe button or roll your diplomacy to leave a review. It really helps out the show a lot. Until then, remember to live heroic and die historic.